They don't even realize they've done it. They've created an offer that's actually maybe 1 or 2 degrees off, and it's actually better aligned to a different ideal client. Get 1 or 2 degrees off, and your marketing isn't going to land. I've seen this happen a lot too. People create their product, put their marketing together, and it's speaking to someone that's not quite that person. And again, it just doesn't land. Your offer and your marketing, you've hand in hand. So here we are again for another week, Leon. I am super happy today because I have a new YSL lipstick. And you're going to be looking at me like, what is a YSL lipstick? It's Yves Saint Laurent. And I've never had a YSL lipstick before, and it went on like velvet. So I'm feeling very bougie today. But anyway, that's me.
Oh, all right. So it works good, right?
It works good, right? I am in love. You know, when you get something that's really fancy and you're like, how did I not discover this sooner?
Yeah. Why am I only discovering this now?
Exactly. Why did I have to wait to be this? I'm not going to say how old I am. I nearly slipped then and not have discovered YSL lipstick.
Yes, put your guesses below in the comment section.
Anything over 40 and it's wrong. Anyway, how are you today?
Oh, I'm going well.
Without your YSL lipstick?
I don't have YSL lipstick on. Can you not tell?
Oh, your complexion is lovely. Sorry, are you having a good day?
Anyway, back on track. Yes, I am. And we've actually got something to talk about today, which is a question from a listener, but we actually get asked this quite a lot, but we thought we'd bring it up.
Yes.
And I'm going to call it, what is your hot offer?
Absolutely. And when I saw this question come through, I'm like, we have to cover this, because what I find with offers is a lot of people that come to me and they say, oh my goodness, I've got a lead gen problem or a sales problem. A lot of times it's actually that their offer is not on point. And we're going to talk about all of the different things that you need to make sure that you cover off to have a hot offer. And by hot offer, we mean an offer that people want to spend money on, that people pay you for, right?
Yeah. And I suppose with this, the last thing you want is we're doing some amazing marketing, and we'll get to that in a sec as well, and then have your offer fall flat in the face.
Yeah.
Which is what you don't want.
Yeah. Although, can I just say, I don't think I've ever seen a bad offer with awesome marketing, because they go hand in hand. And we're going to talk about why. We're going to talk about why.
So the first point that we were going to bring up is your ideal client.
Yeah. You absolutely need to know who your ideal client is, because otherwise you don't know how to create your offer, pitch your offer, put it together. Like, there's so many different things. If you are trying to sell to everyone, it's going to land flat, because the marketing around the offer is not going to find its way to the right people. And I think we hear that all the time. You know, if you try and sell to everyone, you're selling to no one. And everyone goes, yeah, I know what you're saying. Yeah, I heard it. Yeah, I understand it. And then they go and try and sell to everyone. So please, please, please listen. Don't try and sell to everyone. We all know that your offer can help so many people. We know that your offer can help everyone. But you need to aim it to one person, because otherwise it's not memorable. People don't refer it. People don't remember it. People don't put their hand up and go, oh yeah, that's me. When it's aimed at lots of people, no one realizes that, you know, that your offer is for them. They can't easily go, yeah, that's for me.
Yeah,
so I know that you've probably heard a million times before, if you try and sell to everyone, you sell to no one. But please take it on board. Like, it really needs to be for one person.
Yeah. So if you're talking to Sam at any stage about your offer, don't go, but it can help everyone.
Because I go, oh, I know.
No. Aries energy. Anyway.
Let me just say one thing before we move on, because then the next thing that people often say to me is, yeah, but Tony Robbins. And I will say what I've always said, yeah, but Tony Robbins started like years and years and years ago aiming at one person and has built from there. And that's what I'm going to say to that.
Yeah, yeah. Now, I did just say a minute ago about if you had great marketing that gets the offer and falls flat. Clearly, if you're talking to the right person, your ideal client, then it's not going to fall flat.
Yeah, 100%. And that's because, number two, you know what it is that your ideal client's struggling with, or like future ideal client, or ICP or ICA. I mean, we've heard of the ideal client avatar, prospect, like whatever word you want to use.
Insert
the person, insert whatever you want for the person hasn't bought from me, and then they will turn into a client down the track. You need to know what their problems are, and it's their really, really deep, we call them 2 a.m. problems. Like, what are the things that has them lying in bed, staring at the ceiling at 2 a.m. worrying about? If your ideal client has got a migraine and they're getting migraines because they're not eating the right food, your ideal client at the time that they've got the migraine at 2 a.m. doesn't care about the food. They want the pill that fixes the migraine, and they will talk about the food once the migraine's gone. So we really need to understand what is it that they're struggling with now, but also what is that fix that they want now, so that we can go on and solve the problem at length.
Yeah.
So we need to know what it is that's really, really challenging them, holding them up, stopping them, that real pain point. And I think this is where a lot of people go wrong. A lot of experts go wrong because they have such a deep understanding of the core problem that they often talk about the core problem. But at the time that we're putting the offer together to talk about the core problem, but in the marketing, we're not going to talk about the core problem. We're going to talk about those 2 a.m. problems.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, what we're talking about here is the offer, but we're also straddling that marketing as well, because they go hand in hand.
Yeah. I think it's a bit of sell them what they want, but you give them what they need. I don't confuse what they need with what they want. Like, they want that 2 a.m. problem fixed.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you know that when it comes to you, you're the expert. You can give them what they need to fix that problem.
Totally. And then that goes into the next point is, what is it that your ideal client wants? So you know what their pain point is, but do you have what they want? Now, let me give you a really good example of this that I am seeing a lot of right now in the health and fitness space, and it's GLP-1s, okay? So I'm hearing it like in the nutrition space of people saying, oh my goodness, like, it slows down gastric emptying, and like that people are taking GLP-1s and they're still eating rubbish food. And that's what the majority of nutritionists are saying. Then there's the nutritionist that I discovered that popped up on my TikTok thread months ago, where she was like, I decided to actually look into this GLP-1 thing. And she went, I actually realized that it's actually helping my clients a lot, and that I could help them even more by helping them to understand their macros, to help them understand how they're eating, and to also understand how to gently wean them off. She's fully booked.
Yeah.
So she's not, instead of saying, oh my goodness, like, I don't believe this thing, it's like, well, what is it that my ideal clients want, and how can I use my expertise to help those people? Another example of that is a lot of fitness trainers that are going, oh my goodness, GLP-1s and people are losing muscle mass. They are. And there's a gym that's opened up in Brisbane that's helping GLP-1 users to increase and keep their muscle mass. Like, I'm not saying go against your values. If that's against your values, don't do it. That's not what I'm saying here. What I'm saying is, do you understand what it is that your ideal clients want, and can you help them? Because if you're telling them, oh, you might want that, but you shouldn't have it, it's not going to fare very well if you've got an entire market that's going in one way. And that's just one tiny, one tiny topic, but that goes across every topic, right? Are you providing a not a pill, but are you giving people relief in a way that they actually want? Because if you've got something that people want, they will pay for it.
Yeah, yeah. I think that's where can it solve their problem? That's a yes.
Yes.
Quick side story. I actually saw an ad from a UK trainer that I follow, and he has the Sneaky Little Bastards training program.
You sent me that because it was the best piece of marketing I've ever seen. Because I'll let you actually no. I'm going to take it because when you sent it to me, I was like, "What are you sending me this for?" And then because he's got a real strong accent too, doesn't he? And he was like, "Oh, GLP-1s are taking over the world." And the people are hiding in their homes, sneaky little bastards. And that's why I've got the sneaky little bastard GLP-1 program. Like, that is genius. Yeah. Because it's just speaking to the exact ideal client that he wants. He knows his ideal client. He knows their 2 a.m. problem. They're hiding out at home. And he's giving them what they want. And that was the best form of marketing I've ever seen for tick, tick, tick with those 3 things.
Yeah, yeah. Just for our little side quest, I think that something that we're all about is helping our clients win.
Yes.
And I think sometimes I've seen in other cases where they may not totally agree with everything their client does, but you're there to help them. So if you look at the GLP-1, for example, with building muscle, you could be on the anti-bag wagon if you want, if that's your thing. But you can also take the point of view and go, I'm a really good weight trainer person.
A strength trainer.
Yeah, I could help them maintain that and have less side effects or whatever it is. So, I think there's sometimes we can help, and we really should, because that's what we're here for, to help people.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah. The other part, then this is probably what brings us to this part is the offer aligned.
Yeah, and I think this is really important because I see a lot of people, they finally land on their ideal client and then they create an offer that's not quite aligned with that person. Yep. They don't even realize they've done it, but they've created an offer that's actually maybe 1 or 2 degrees off, and it's actually better aligned to a different ideal client. So you need to make sure that once you decide who this ideal client is that you want to work with, you understand the 2 a.m. problems, understand what they want, then make sure that your expertise and your success path, so the framework, your unique methodology or your signature system is put together in the exact way that solves that person's problem. Because get 1 or 2 degrees off and your marketing isn't going to land. And I've seen this happen a lot too. So people create their product, put their marketing together, and it's speaking to someone that's not quite that person. And again, it just doesn't land. So your offer and your marketing, I'm saying it again, but I really want this to land, they live hand in hand. And they need to be speaking to that person. We need to be speaking about their pain points. We need to be speaking to what they want. We need to be speaking in a way that I have a process and I'm going to take you by the hand and I'm going to lead you through the process. So that process, that signature system, you need to be talking about that in your marketing. Your offer or your program needs to be mapped out like that. So it could look like these are the steps we're going to go through, or it could look like this is the stages that we're going to deliver this project. Like stage 1 is we're going to, for the first 30 days, this is what we're focusing on. Stage 2, we're going to go to, that months 2 to 6, we're going to be doing this. And this does a couple of things. Number 1, it creates trust in your prospect so that when they look at it, they go, oh, I trust that person has a replicable system, because there's a lot of distrust in the market of, well, how do I know that that's going to work? Or how do I know that you're not flying by the seat of your pants? So you need that for the trust. But you also need it to help your prospect understand what it looks like once they're inside your container. So they're not coming in and going, well, how come I don't have, XYZ outcome in the first 2 weeks?
Yeah.
they understand we're doing this so that we can do this, so that then we can do this. So it's just helping them to understand and give them context of what this journey looks like.
Yeah, yeah. So I think it's a bit of, you don't want buyer's remorse from your customers, and then if they're not sure what they're getting 100%,
Yep.
then that could be a problem. Like last thing I want is to join, they get in there for 2 weeks, and then in your course, and then they're not feeling like they're getting what they were supposed to be getting.
Yep.
I think that's where the system really comes into it. So
Yep.
the other part of this you just talked about before is if you're talking to the right person and you're not 3 degrees off and you're actually on point and you're talking to the ideal client, that language and terminology that you use is on point to that particular ideal client, because talking about, accounting to an accountant is different talking about accounting to, a CEO.
Yeah.
They ever so slightly differ. They all know about finance, so to speak, but they speak a different language.
Yeah.
So, yeah, you can still be like kind of close, but miss the mark.
Yeah.
That'll disappointing.
Yeah. Totally.
Yeah. The last thing we want to bring up is, what will they pay for it?
Yeah, and this is again you really need to make sure that you get your pricing right. So pricing is a really big topic, because what's cheap to one person is what's expensive to another person. What you really need to get clear on is, what is the outcome worth to that person? Because when you get really clear on what the outcome is worth to them, then it's easier to go, well, okay, so if I charge this, then 5 times, 10 times ROI on what they've paid, that's fine. But if you're trying to charge, thousands and thousands of dollars to something that's really like throwaway to someone, like it's like neither here nor there, that's going to be a really, really hard sell. Likewise, if you charge really low ticket, but your ideal client is someone that's in a high net worth space, they're going to think it's worth nothing. Like, that's just going to be a waste of my money. So you need to get really clear on who's that ideal client, what is normal to them in their world, what is it that they want to solve, and what is solving that problem worth to them. Everything needs to come into alignment.
Yeah. I think you missed an opportunity there.
Oh, what did I miss?
The story about the older mechanic on the boat. Is it a boat? Is that what it is?
Well, I think this is actually a made up story, I think. But when I very first heard it, it was said to me in a conference where I was in Adelaide. And in Adelaide, we used to have the Holden plant. It's not there anymore, but the big Holden factory was in Adelaide. And everyone was 1 degree separated, if not, related to someone that worked at Holden, right? We all knew someone that worked at Holden because it was such a big plant. Anyway, the story was that one day, and the line ran 24/7. So they had 3 shifts of people, they had morning shift, afternoon shift, night shift. The line never stopped, right? So the story was that one day the line stopped. And, I don't know, I've never worked in a factory. I don't know the names of people, but, the person that's in charge of the line was like, going and doing all the things and couldn't work out what has gone wrong, and, ran upstairs to the, more like the executives. The line stopped. We don't know, what's going on. Lots of people are starting to be brought in. The line stopped. And when the line at Holden stopped, that we're talking building cars here, they were losing like tens of thousands of dollars a minute for every minute that the line was stopped. Anyway, the line had been stopped for like 2 or 3 hours, and someone said, why don't you let's call him Barry, because I can't think of another name. Let's call Barry. Barry sounds like someone that would work on the Holden line. Anyway, let's call Barry, because Barry, who just, left last week and had been here for, 50 years and 60 years and retired with his pension and his Rolex, he'd been there and he knew the line really well. So they called him, and Barry came in and he put his screwdriver in and he gave a screw quarter turn, and the line started word in and everyone's back to work. And Barry gave them an invoice for $25,000. And they went, are you kidding me? You turned that screw quarter. of a turn. And Barry's like, and if I didn't do that, how long would the line have been stopped? You're not paying me for turning that screw quarter of a circle. You're paying me because I got your line back up and running. And I think that's a really important story to remember. So thank you for reminding me, because our worth isn't in the time. Our worth is in how big is the problem that we're solving them and what is the cost of that problem.
Yep. Yeah. So I think if, anyone's still in the charge by the hour kind of market, or that's how you're costing yourself out, charging yourself out, you might want to reconsider how you're charging yourself out.
Absolutely.
What you're fixing could be worth way more value than that.
Yeah. Or alternatively, you also may need a different ideal client.
Well,
because you may be targeting people that fly economy once every 5 years instead of the person that's flying business class or first class every month.
Yep.
And I don't mean that literally, but you may need to change your ideal client.
Yep.
Yeah.
So just in wrap up, we've gone through your hot offer, but so who is your ideal client?
Mm-hmm.
And then what is the 2 a.m. problem they're struggling with?
Yes.
And what do they actually want?
Yes.
And
is the offer aligned with that person?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yeah. And then will they
is it priced accordingly? Will they pay?
Yeah.
Yeah. Trying to sell underwater knitting to a group of people that are living in the Sahara Desert doesn't matter how good your marketing is. It doesn't matter how brilliantly your offer is priced and how valuable it is and how much value is in it. It's unlikely to sell. So
if you've got any questions that you'd like answered, please throw them at us.
Yeah.
The Instagram links are in the show notes below, and we'd love to hear from you.
Yeah. Go create a hot offer. Ciao for now.